I grew up in Bombay. I got into UC Berkeley and did my master's and my PhD from MIT in mechanical engineering. We can do those things, but we have to do it in an Indian way. Innovation, where we designed an antenna, you have a way to put it along with the uniform only. Filed a patent on it, and then we won that award. The Boston Police Department, we were doing some work on thermal imaging. I was a student. They told me, can you help us out? Police department gave us an award. Failing is very important. It is mandatory that you fail 100 times and you succeed once. Teachers in the US told me this. The first thing we wanted to do, go into the lab and break something. The same philosophy we tell our students also. Okay. When you're young, you can take risk, right? You don't have to support your wife and children and all that.
So welcome to another chapter of Built on Brains. Today with us we have Dr. Priam Pillai, who is COO at Mahatma Education Society. He is a mechanical engineer. He did his mechanical engineering from University of California. He did his Ph.D. from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and he has been awarded by US government and by other private players for his excellence in innovation. So I welcome you.
Thank you.
We would like to learn about your journey, how it has been an inspirational journey from your academics till now.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is my first podcast, so really excited to be here and do this. I'm happy that I'm doing it with you here. I grew up in Bombay. I grew up in Chembur. I did up to my 11th and 12th in Chembur. I decided I got an opportunity to go abroad, so I took it. And at that time, this was maybe in 2000s, early 2000s. No one was doing that so much. Now many people do it, but after 12th, third people hardly went. So I said I'll go. So I ended up in the US. I got into UC Berkeley for my undergrad. I did my mechanical engineering and material science engineering from there. Then I got into MIT. Then did my master's and my PhD from MIT in mechanical engineering. Then my father had started many institutions in India. So in Mumbai, in Navi Mumbai, I decided to come back after I finished my PhD to help him run. Then once I came back, then a lot of new things we have done and accomplished in that period. And it's sort of it's an exciting opportunity to be part of the Indian sort of growth story and the development story that's been happening over the last 15, 20 years. So I'm excited to be part of that. That's why I came back. So I think that's kind of the crisp nutshell.
Okay, that's great. So most of the times what happens is when people go to US, you may have education like renowned institutes like California University of Massachusetts. They don't return back. So there are several reasons, because comfort of life, the way the lifestyle is over there. So what motivated you to come back? You already had an established...
No, I mean, it was like you want to, for me, I thought about where I could make a bigger impact, right? So if I could stay in the US, and I would probably do well, I hope. But like my impact there would be not that substantial. But I thought coming back, with whatever my dad has already accomplished, I would be able to help contribute towards that as well, right? So that was kind of the motivation initially. And then after some time, you get used to India also. So then I got used to it here. So it's fine. My wife, children, everybody are here. So it's okay.
So anything that you're bringing in from your experience or from your education from Massachusetts and California University in your Premium Institute?
Well, there are a lot of things. See, one of the things that everybody asks me this question, right? So it's like when you come in, you're like, okay, you went to MIT or to UC Berkeley, they're top, universities in the world globally, right? Not like just in the US. So you can bring in things from there into India. And then the thing is, when I first came here, I did that. I was trying to do that. And then you realize that those universities did certain things that would work basically only in the US.
Okay.
Right? And they're not that necessarily good or bad. But it was like, because they have a different setup, different levels of investment, different levels of infrastructure, different levels of government interfaces with the university. So and they have a different culture and stuff, right? So, and in India, we have our own separate, unique identity, culture. So we have to do things, we can do those things, but we have to do it in an Indian way, right? We have to make sure that whatever we are doing, we're not just cut and pasting. Okay, MIT में ऐसे करते थे, we can do that here. That is not how it works, or it will not work. You can try. People are trying, but it doesn't work efficiently. You want to have a system that is adapted to Indian sort of conditions. Because our, like I said, our culture, our languages, people, government, regulatory institutions, they're all differently set up. It's just like you can't take a legal education from US and then try to go into the Supreme Court and argue. It doesn't work, right? You have to have the same philosophy with anything else, including education. You have to adapt to local conditions. That's what we've done.
That's great. So you also were an inventor in US. You also got an award from US Navy, from US Army. So it was Gold Innovation Award. Could you like to explain this innovation, how it was?
No, I mean, see, in the US, there are many institutions that sponsor awards, competitions. A lot of competitions are there. US military and all has a competition of how do you integrate new materials and nanotechnology into soldier kind of design. So we had a innovation where we designed an antenna that was flexible, that you could put inside a uniform, right? So basically it's a flexible antenna, and the reason you need something like that is, like in this normal antenna or walkie-talkie, we'll have a big antenna that sticks out.
Right.
Like the field or in military, you have a problem where this, you're in the forest or wilderness or desert. This thing that's sticking out will get jammed in the tree or something. There's some issue. So they were like, why don't we get rid of it? We have a way to put it along with the uniform outfit. So that was the innovation. So we came up with the technologies that did that. And we filed a patent on it. We filed some IP on it. Then we won that award also.
That's great. So getting an award from US Army is not a small thing. From me at least, I can say thank you. And also you work with Boston Police Department.
Yes.
So it was also an investigation.
Yeah, we were, the Boston Police Department, we were doing some work on thermal imaging.
Okay.
So thermal cameras they were using on the field to find out like evidence. Like if somebody had fired a gun or a gun was used recently, it would be hot. So you can use a thermal camera to prove that this gun was recently used, right? So not that it would prove anybody was guilty or innocent or anything, but it was like, okay, one piece of evidence. So it was one of the things that was happening is that this evidence was not accepted in the courts. So in the US, there are very strict rules of evidence.
Okay.
Where it comes from, who handled it, how it was handled, what it means. You have to have an expert come and testify in front of the trial courts. So then they couldn't afford big consultants and all that. So I was a student. They told me, can you help us out? So then I consulted for them at that point of time. And I went into, for some cases, just in the small point of like, okay, this gun was hot. So it was used in the last 10, 15, 20 minutes, like that kind of thing. And what was happening was that in these cases, the police will see somebody on the road, he will have something in his pocket, and then he'll see the police, he will throw it, and he will start running. And the police will catch this chap, they'll find that very true there was a gun there. And then the defense would say, this is a very bad neighborhood, there's guns everywhere. How do you know it came from him?
Not like India, we don't have that much gun.
Yeah, but the US is a different story. So that was a problem. So that's what we were helping them solve, that issue.
And for that also you got award.
Yeah, the police department gave us an award for that, yeah.
That's great actually, working with the US military and then again police department. Many people don't get this kind of opportunities.
Yeah, I think when you're part of an institution like MIT, these kinds of things kind of happened organically. Okay. Right? They come to us and then we have to just see if we can help them or not.
So when you went for US education, did you find anything difficult, anything that is not with your ways?
No, it's initially there's a little bit of learning curve, but it was a very good experience. Fortunately, I'm smart enough to manage my academic things along with extracurriculars. So the US has a focus on both. So I think there's a good balance that I had at the universities I went to. I'm glad to say that many Indian universities now are kind of giving the same kind of exposure and experience, which is good to see. I didn't necessarily have any big difficulties there.
So that's great to know about your innovations and your contribution to the US Army and to the police department. So after returning from US and getting into the leadership role like 𝐿𝐴 and Mahatma Education Society, so was it easy or was it a difficult task for you?
No, I mean, I don't think it was. I mean, it wasn't difficult. It's a transition. Ultimately there was one thing maybe that MIT taught me that I've used here very frequently is that you have to not be afraid to fail at something. Failing is very important. And unfortunately in India we don't think of it like a fail ho gaya, bura ho gaya, ye ho gaya. But as I was there, it taught me the opposite is kind of the case. Right? You have to fail. It is mandatory that you fail 100 times and you succeed once. So I think that ethos, I kind of had it inbuilt that whether or not you succeed or fail in the first, you kind of, failure is part of it. You have to learn how to deal with it. Right? You can fail and then but then maybe next time you learn something from this failure and you succeed. So that is what I thought I was bringing into our institutions. So I told the students and the teachers also that failing is okay, right? Not and what happens is, but you have to learn from that, improve, and next time, right? And I think what we have done in many of our education system, schools and all that, we have said put some stigma on failing, and I think that
Generally,
scientifically we have a stigma. Yeah, so we and we make people be so afraid. Right. So let's suppose I give an example of our teachers. Right. So our teachers, we have I think earlier you mentioned our teachers are sort of very open. They will talk. They will do things. Do innovative stuff. And the reason is we are okay with them trying things and failing at it. Right. Whether it's in teaching or implementing some research project or buying some equipment that they may use and then not break it or something like that. Right. So we are like, okay, theek hai. You tried something, you failed, no problem. Let's move on and find the next thing. So that is the kind of one of my teachers in the US told me this. The first thing we wanted to do, go into the lab and break something.
Okay.
Right?
So no one in India may see this.
No. So we buy very good things, very good equipment, and वो cupboard में lock करके रख देता है.
बहुत expensive.
हाँ, उसको touch नहीं करना है. No one should touch this thing. I'm like, why are you purchasing it then, right? If you are not going to utilize it, it is not a museum piece that you're not supposed to touch. So, by that, boss told me that, okay, आपने तोड़ दिया, चलो, but now you spend the next 6 months repairing it. Okay,
interesting.
So then you learn how is this machine, how does it work, how it repairs, how you fix things, how you call somebody out from outside to come and repair it. You learn how to do all those things. Same thing with our teachers. They know that if they come and break something, so they will be careful because they don't want to spend that 6 months trying to repair it, right? But they also know that it's not like I'm going to crime or I'm going to throw them out of the job or anything like that. We have a system where you say that you are a teacher, please take risk. You want to start some new course, new program, new way of thinking, new way of teaching, you take it. We will spend a little bit of money to help you out also. Right? We will spend some money for your training, we'll send some money to buy some equipment or some software, whatever it is. But you take the risk, figure out if it can be done. We will hold you accountable. We will say okay, what happened? Why it worked? Why it didn't work? If it didn't work, okay. If it worked, wonderful, right? We need out of 20, 30 things, new things, you say events happen, no? If we try, one of them has to be successful. What is that? And each event is not costing us that much money. So, from a risk standpoint, I think and the same philosophy we tell our students also.
Okay.
Right? Not just for teachers. The students we take, okay, you want to go for this competition, you want to build some product, you want to do something here, you want to use our advanced equipment for your school project. We're like, theek hai, karo. Why am I keeping this equipment if you only have to use it, right? So students are also then getting into that habit of I will take risk. If I break something, ठीक है मुझे repair करना पड़ेगा. But if I'm successful, then nothing like it. So like that philosophy of risk taking, failing, then trying again, right? Maybe failing again, then trying again, then maybe the third time you will be successful at something. So I think that's an entrepreneurial kind of mindset.
True. That's not purely academic.
It's not an academic, purely academic. I mean, it's a more of an entrepreneur. Like, let us see, we'll try it. होता है तो होता है. नहीं तो नहीं होगा, then ठीक है, we'll try something else. So I think that risk appetite is there. It is there amongst us teachers and students. I mean, that makes a difference in the overall education pattern.
And this is something that I can see it's very unique with Mahatma Education Society. The liberty that has been given, I have seen many innovative things happening when I visited campus, and also stress level between the faculty members. I have never seen them in stress actually. That's what I guess.
So that's good. I think, yeah,
that's really good. So that's what gives freedom. I can say that's what gives a feel of that we have very comfortable in working, and they have that what you can say happiness of job satisfaction, I can see.
Right.
That's great. So with this, I think so you have also started innovation and entrepreneurship program in this college. Would you like to add something on this? You already told risk of failures.
Yeah. No, so it is the same. Again, it's not rocket science. It's like, okay, how much risk we can, how do we make our students more amenable to taking risk chances? And when you're young, you can take risk, right? You don't have to support your wife and children and all that. So students should have an idea that, okay, now I can take some chance. I can try for making a company. I can try making a product. I can then go for marketing. I can go for sales, distribution, whatever, right? So we then wanted an environment that again is supportive of that kind of thing. And for us, it wasn't about like a lot of colleges and all. They'll try acha humko next Facebook, Google banana hai, or the next big app banana hai, ye karna hoga. But we are like, he said that yeah, certainly if students come with these kinds of things, we are happy. But we also happy to support. But we also want to support like the students who are, I want to make a new restaurant, right? I want to develop some new type of store or build a new product that is like, it is innovative, but not like so unique. So we wanted to support just the entrepreneurs in general, as well as the high technology startups, because like the background of many of our students are not like they don't come from business families, they don't come from already kind of a long list of entrepreneurs, right? So they are new, they don't know. So once you see somebody in your family start some business, right, then I think you have that automatically. You'll figure out what is the how do you do it, right? How do you raise money? How do you hire people? How do you do sales, marketing, all that? If you're already in, but then if you're not, then even that starting a small kirana shop is difficult for you, right? It is.
The mindset is totally different.
It's a different that again is the risk taking mindset.
There is no monthly salaries.
There is no. You have to get everything at once, and then maybe try to stabilize and do it. And it takes time. It takes 1, 2, 3 years of working hard. But once you do it, the payoff is also quite good. So I think that was a culture we wanted to get into our institutions, and get it into people who are not necessarily from very, very long-standing business background. So that is what we did.
So that's great. Actually, this is what a differentiating factor I can say is with Mahatma Education Society and other universities.
No, I mean we have 4 kind of basic objectives, right? We don't have a very long list of objectives. We want to increase the employability of our students, inculcate entrepreneurship, have a research-oriented mindset. So people should go into things that are not necessarily available already. And whatever work we do, it needs to have an impact. So employability, entrepreneurship, research, and impact. 4 things. Very simple. All of our things need to have these four kind of as part of whether it's a class or event or competition, or these 4 things have to be there in some form or other. So very simple. We don't want to make anything complicated. Like a lot of colleges, universities have like 35 different things that they are trying to do. right? But we are like, no, we want to keep it very straightforward.
So, if you want to be a part of this amazing institute and get this kind of support, I think you should be the part of this kind of institute, because I'm also engineer. I'm passed out from Alchan Science. We never got this kind of entrepreneurial support, I can say, or a mindset that can support failures or give leadership learning during education. During education. So, you also work in urban planning. So, can you just elaborate more on?
I'm a mechanical, I'm not a planner. But what happened was a few years ago, in 2014, I think, I had some colleagues who asked me if I wanted to set up a research center with New York University on urban planning. Not necessarily because of my background in urban planning, but just because I had access to infrastructure, facilities, resources that could go towards it. So I agreed. We signed an MOU with New York University. They provided funds and expertise, and we recruited people in India to start this center. The center at the time was executing a project for the United Nations, studying cities around the world. We had basically a system where we were having studying how cities grow, how much they're growing in like maybe 1990 onwards using satellite imaging. So we're using satellite imagery to study cities, and we basically had at that time we had 200 cities we studied in about a year, and we were not only studying how much they grew but the quality of that growth as well. So that was kind of the goal, to do sort of not just how much but quality, right? And then I think NYU was giving out suggestions to cities as to how to plan for their expansion, and then we supported that for many years. I think the project continued. We published some work in a couple of different UN conferences, UN Habitat in Ecuador, and we had a good number of publications. We are still doing some work, not me personally, but there are researchers that are involved in this work. So that center now has spun out some startups also. We will talk about that in a bit. But basically, it uses geospatial technologies and builds geospatial products. Not doing urban planning as such anymore, but basically more evolved into geospatial things.
So, can you speak about more? Can you talk about the startups that are involved?
Yeah. So basically, anything that involves kind of your location information can be used as can be then figured. You can figure out how to do it, right? So, for example, one startup, which is my startup, is called Velectus, and basically what it has, we have a product. It's an app. It can be used by municipal sanitation workers. So, say for example, Panvel Municipal Corporation is a corporation in New Bombay, and basically it's a new corporation. They have around 300 public toilets in that corporation. And the sanitation workers' job is to go to the toilets, clean it, and report if there is some required, right? So what we did is build an app for these guys. And in the app, they can take a photo of that toilet after finishing the work. So first of all, the location will take them, they have to be there. Number one. The second thing is that the photo has an AI inbuilt into it that will automatically say, okay, this is clean, not clean, needs work, whatever. And then sometimes there's civil work required, there's some damage, and they have a way to say whether there's water or not water, all that kind of stuff. So and that report automatically goes to the municipality. So that sanitation worker the municipality has to then follow up. Right, so like this, we were monitoring around 300 toilets a day, and we're still doing it. Today itself, we are executing that project. We got an award from Maharashtra State Innovation Society. It's under Government of Maharashtra Skill Development Department. So they gave us the award to do this work, and they gave us some funds also. So we are very happy that we were able to do it for the corporation, and it's being used today. Today also. So it's a good, so these kinds of products we've built up over the last couple of years, and there are some more coming up in the pipeline.
Would you like to speak more about it?
No, not necessarily, not right. It may, like I said, it's a risk, right? It might fail, right? So then I would like say, you said you will come make up this product, and 5 years later it will go away. So you don't, until it comes out, we will just refrain from that.
coming back to Mahatma Education Society, so I have seen that the faculty members are motivated and always, and the retention is also very high. So how do you manage this? They are also active and the retention is high. So how is this managed in comparison to other institutes?
So, I mean, I think first of all, there's some hierarchy of needs, no? So first you have to make sure that they are sufficiently compensated. Always people say we should get paid more, but okay, and paid on time, paid everything, all that kind of stuff. We don't have any issues with that, right? So the basic things are already, there's never been an issue. We have been around since 1970. Okay. 1970 and all,
50 plus years.
55 years. We know how to handle up, down, sideways, any COVID or government changes or so many things have happened in the last 55 years. If you think about it, we have managed it all. My father has managed it quite well. I'm learning from him only. I think that is the financial management is a key part of managing these institutions. But again, I'm happy to hear that your feedback with them is quite good. So one thing I will mention maybe before that your company copyrighted many of these software that we built for this, even including this PMC software.
Okay.
The app and everything you have you're filing about it. So I think that is the number one thing, is that there should be a stable financial situation, and we have to work with many different stakeholders to keep them satisfied at different levels, So I think that satisfaction is high because we have a stable system, right? We are concentrated in Mumbai, right? We have not diversified and started branches in multiple cities and across India, and we are very much tied to our location. We're very happy. Panvel itself, we have been since 1986. We have school, college, campuses as well. The community knows us. They trust us. Many of our teachers and all, have grown up with us, right? We have things in place to encourage their professional development, right? A lot of our faculty have done Ph.D. while they were teaching.
That's it.
Right? A lot of our faculty have, while with us, they have felt confident enough to buy houses and all nearby.
That's
right. They don't want to shift from here. They're like, we're happy living here with job satisfaction is there. There is a faculty are encouraged to take risks, to have, to kind of like, if it succeeds, it's good for them. Right, if they make
they build their profile also.
Yeah, they build it. They have innovative. They have patents. They have copyrights. They have so many other sort of things that are part of their profile, including not just PhD, but all these other things, research publication. So we don't necessarily look at numbers like how many papers you have published, how many patents you have done. We look at quality is more than quantity, and then we appreciate that in various ways. So I think that ethos is there. That leads to job satisfaction, continuity, stability among our faculty, and some of our faculty were our students at some point, right? So some of our faculty were with us from, like, somebody did KG all the way till PhD with us. So many years of studying in our institution. So it's not that people are happy or not happy. I think that as long as that continues, it will continue in the same way. For other colleges, there are different models. It's not like we have some model that is the only way.
Something unique.
Everybody has some model or the other. Our philosophy is, more or less has been to stay in one geographic area, not start things here, there, all this aggressively. And so that means that our finances have kept stable and we are more robust in terms of that. And that has led us to be able to develop our institutions. I mean, I think our philosophy of a university, of a college or educational institution, especially higher education, is a little bit different. I believe strongly that the university is a place where you bring a lot of very intelligent people into one location, where you bring in very good infrastructure into that location. So when you have all these smart people in one location, all smart faculty, smart students, and good infrastructure facilities, then that innovation happens. Right now, I can build a college in another state, another place, but then it dilutes this thing, right? So I think if you look at the first location of most institutions that have started change, even in IITs, the first few IITs are the best, right? Then the secondary ones are trying to get better, but again, it will take a long time for them. It's the government, so they can sustain over a long time. But for a private organization, if you look at many private organizations, the first place is very well. Then the second and third and fourth, little is little bit. So that I think happens, and it because it for the second, third will take time, and for a private management to sustain that over a long period of time is not easy.
Fitting the people, right people again, and
right people again, right infrastructure again, the students again, right? You want to take the smartest students and put it in one place, right? So that is the difficulty.
That's right. So as you mentioned, Mahatma Education Society was started in 1970. It's almost 55 years of successful journey. Would you like to tell us how it was started and the journey till date?
No, so my father, he came from Kerala in I think the 60s, 50s or 60s, and then he did some schooling in here. He went to Somaya College, and he then wanted to start a school. So he acquired some land in Chembur and started a school. Then that school over the 70s and 80s slowly grew up, right? We were supported at that time by a lot of our parents. They were eager to contribute to the institution. So they supported us. And so we built the school slowly over time. He built the school. And then in the late 80s, so then that school, then we started a night college there. We started, then the school, then we got a plot in New Panvel. At the time, there was nothing there. So CIDCO allotted us a school in 1986, I think. And we started carried on a school there. Then in 92, we started an architecture institution in New Bombay. We were one of the first privately funded architectural institutions in Maharashtra, I think. So we started unaided architecture the first. That was in 1992. We started unaided B.Ed teacher training in Chembur. That was also one of the first ones. So that started the higher education kind of area of our in 92. Then by 98 and 2000, we started degree college. We started engineering institution. We started management in 98 and 2000. And then from then onwards, those institutions grew up, right? Over those institutions, then we started a campus in Rasayani as well in 2006, where we have sort of colleges, and we wanted to cater to the local population there as well. So we started school, college in that campus as well. And then I think since then we have one or two schools that we have started. One in Borivali in 2009 and one in New Panvel, the international schools. So those are the main institutions that we have started the last 50 years. And now our focus is not to sort of start more colleges. It's to just make these very good, right? Make these the best in New Bombay, our schools, our colleges, and in Bombay. Because like I said, we have a good number of students, are very talented kid students, very good teachers. So they are on the cusp of, we will become, one of the better, if not one of the best institutions in this area. That is the mission. And I think that is kind of what we are looking out to do. Today itself, our cutoffs are probably one of the highest in New Bombay, right? At least. So so we want to develop that more as our vision for the future. Now we have our Honorable Chief Minister has said that this area is going to be Mumbai 3.0. Right? They have a lot of plans for the development of this. They're planning some Edu-City, Med-City, Medical City, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a new urban kind of environment around the New Bombay Airport, right? Whereas New Bombay Airport is going to be launched this year. There's already Bombay Pune Expressway is there, JNPT, Atal Setu, a lot of railway connectivity is being built up. So a lot of metro lines. So we will have a lot of good connectivity, a lot of infrastructure, and any new city for us, we think that is an opportunity, right? Because we are already working with municipalities. We're already working with many different government agencies to develop, as and when problems come, we try to help them. So we want to be part of this Mumbai 3.0 story, right? And we've already been part of the New Bombay story, especially when it comes to Panvel. But now Mumbai 3.0 is kind of the new area, right? And historically, this area has a lot of historical significance. This was the capital of Panvel. Raigad was the capital since Shivaji's time, right? And Panvel port was an ancient port. There've been discoveries of Greek and Roman coins in Panvel. Right? There's old Jewish communities. Right? So we're part of that history. We think of ourselves as part of that history.
So it's an inspirational journey from a school to an institute where so many degree colleges have their PhD. There are so many colleges that are taken care of. So building such a big empire is not that easy. So were there any failures that faced you?
No, definitely. See, I mean, we, like any entrepreneurial chapter or endeavor, it has the fair share of failures. You will not succeed if you won't fail, 100%. You suddenly wake up one day, now there's Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, but you don't see the work they have done for so many years and years before that, right? Everybody wants to become CEO immediately. So my father did put in a lot of the work, fortunately. We've been blessed by Almighty, I guess, to that, whatever we took risks, we failed, but we came out of it. He came out of it. We all have come out of it. And we've seen the ups and downs are there, right? But you make sacrifice. Sometimes, you've said like some colleges are not able to pay salaries, right? We same happens to us. We will not have enough money in the bank to pay. What do? You have to take a loan. You have to pledge some assets. Sometimes you have to give your personal facts as also, right? If you're doing that, you take ownership. Whatever happens, you will get your salary, right? So that is the philosophy we have taken. We will make the sacrifices to ensure that the institution runs smoothly, and that is, I think any entrepreneur does that.
No one sees this kind of things that are making this kind of institutes or this kind of organizations successfully running for 50 years. So we'll have to share some more about what things that has been compromised in some times where to make this sustainable. Mahatma Education Society sustainable over the years.
No, I mean, you have to, see, like I said, you have to manage your finances very well, right? That's one very critical part. We know now that how to run our institutions and how to make it a long-term sustainable. We know like where you have to increase revenue, decrease revenue, how we need to support our faculty to make a program be good, right? Like in Bombay, for example, nowadays no one comes for mechanical engineering, right, which is my subject, right? So mechanical and automobile. But what we did, we invested more in that, even though there were no students, right? And now we are full.
That's good.
So and now companies are begging us, we are not getting any students. Please send us some students. Students themselves say, I have like 5 offers. What can I do? I'll go to the one that will pay the best salary. I'm like, okay. So I think that is kind of the thing. So we are one of the few colleges that are full in Baroda, Pune, but at least in Bombay, our mechanical auto departments are one of the only departments that are 100% full. So there is weakness. You have to figure out how to improve upon it, how to make it a strength, right? How to continuously innovate. Right. For us also there was innovation happening. You may think that we're starting some courses, BCom, BSc, something. But again, if it is whatever that was taught 30 years ago, well, why do people come and study that? So the curriculum has to be innovative. Right. You have to introduce new things into the curriculum almost every semester. And then your system has to have that flexibility to do it. right? When you're an affiliated college, we used to be not now we're autonomous, that university will set a syllabus every 5 years, 6 years, maybe 10 years sometimes. We're not changing anything to that. It's not viable now, right? What is relevant from 2015 to 2025? Right? Hardly anything. So every hour there is I wanted to put our syllabus with an expiration date. इस बार use नहीं करना चाहिए इसको. You have to change it after this. So this is, and I think that you have to do it. There is now things are changing even faster. Right? What we thought, what you teach in the beginning of the term, by the end of the term, AI आ गया, सब खत्म हो गया. So that is, it's a challenge, but it's also opportunity.
Because last time also I had a podcast with one of the senior person. When he started recruiting people, there was no experts in India who can work on batteries. So things are changing so rapid in India. It's not only in India but abroad. And to keep cope up with those kind of knowledge is very difficult. It would be really great to have a deadline on this side. Sometimes we read something that is outdated. They just give us a persona and what you should refer in future. But when you go to the job, when you see at actual what things are happening, actually you don't know anything after passing out. That is what I have experienced in my career at least. So that's great if you can expire it and then bring up new things. Great to know about your philosophy of expiry date for the syllabus. And with this innovation and rapid updating technology, and you also have entrepreneurship and innovation and entrepreneurship program at your college. So how do you see intellectual property like patents or designs or copyrights shaking up the universities?
No, I think we have to first sensitize everybody. What are these things? Right? A lot of people don't know necessarily. Well, I give you one example of MIT. I have some patents from MIT, the university. Right? With my advisor and some other students.
You have 6 patents on your name, right? In US.
I mean, it depends on what you got filed and granted and all that kind of nuances are there, but probably around 6 is sounds about right. But the system, like, so a lot of these patents, couple of them are licensed also. But I don't think any of the technology that I did is necessarily in a product necessarily, right? But it is licensed by a company. So what happened was that one of the co-inventors, he started a company that was connected to these Mayan patents, and what he wanted to show his investors that his company has so much IP of portfolio. So he just said, and MIT give permission, discount, you pay some minimum amount. License it from us, and then if it ever makes money, you pay us this much for after so many years, whatever. So MIT then licensed it to him, back to him, and then he says, now look, he had more than me, he had maybe 20-30 patents. So he collected mine also along with that, and he shows his investors that I have these so many IP, and I can. And there is for them the IP protection is very strong, right? So if people are infringing, you have to pay a lot of fine and penalty and all that kind of stuff. So that is one area, right? So if you're an entrepreneur and you're an institution that holds our patents, you can license this as a basket to interested companies. That is one way of generating revenue. There is, of course, like for faculty and all, it's like getting some like an award or something, right? I have 3 patents, 10 patents, 100 patents, right? So I think the patenting system kind of helps them as well. I think your company has done very well in supporting us in that area. And same thing with copyrights. I think copyrights are just as important for software products, because we do a lot of IT services. There's easy kind of products to create. So do quite a number of copyrights, some trademarks as well. So I think intellectual property, protection of intellectual property is important. It will become more important the more people are aware of it, right? There are a lot of famous litigation in this. Hopefully, we don't get into these things, but then again, the institutes now it's an expenditure, Okay.
Correct.
And it's not an expenditure that kind of leads to future more revenue, right? It's more not at least not in the classical sense. It's a capital expenditure, but I don't know how many people are actually licensed. Even IITs and all may not be making a huge amount of money. But again, I don't think of it as, even if you take it the case of MIT, they might be maybe 100 patents out of thousands that generate 99% of their income. And the rest are
Just portfolio bits.
yeah, you license it आपको company को you just you like $100 to you license it for 10 years for $100 or something like that, right? It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't make any difference. We have no but then some patents are licensed by companies and they make money. Then once they make $1 million, then MIT आके वसूल करेगा, right? Right, but until that happens, what is the sense of just keeping it a piece of paper in your office?
It's an investment only. It's a huge investment. Once if the patents are capped and there is a lot of renewed fees that you have to pay, it is if it is not making money, it's unnecessary investment.
Yeah, and that is the point, right? Where you want to keep patents unless it is genuinely useful for you. But like I said, in case of the top universities, they have patents that are not to make a lot of revenue for them.
Leading institute like Mahatma Education Society not only requires technical education, but also a lot of leadership qualities, interpersonal skills, people management skills. So, how are these kind of skill sets helping you out in your professional journey?
No, I think it's an important area to manage people, right? You have to, we have so many stakeholders. Then we want to basically, ultimately everybody has to buy in, right? For it, something to be successful, right? Sometimes I will throw out an idea that maybe we should teach this or do that or change the way we conduct our examinations, and like everybody is skeptical about it. But then instead of issuing an order saying that abhi hum aise karenge, where like 90% of the people are not believing in it, which would basically almost ensure that it will not work properly.
Okay, if people don't believe it,
yeah. So at least a good chunk of people have to buy in.
Okay,
that may be 100%. Like not all your teachers should buy into it, but at least 20, 30, 40% of the people, if they buy in and they say that yes, we will make these changes to our system, then everybody falls in line. Right, I think Elon Musk. I mean, nowadays he's not that popular, but I think I don't know this. He said this also, but he said like 10% of the people do 90% of the work. Right, so it might be roughly the same. In our system is more, but it's you kind of want to once you get buy-in from your sort of top performing staff, teachers, employees, then everybody else kind of falls in line. And I don't know, now they are doing it,
people follow people.
Yeah, people will follow. Like, so it's like you have to build some sort of a hierarchy. Like you lead from the ahead, but you need to have faith in your people who are helping you, your main faculty, heads of departments, principals. They all need to buy in, right? They all need to buy in and they all need to support the vision you have made. Once it is there, and you recruit people who you think will fit into that. From the beginning
itself. So people from recruitment it starts, right?
It starts in recruitment, right? Like you want to people you can tell now, right? Like okay, this person will be a good fit. Not that on paper people might look good, but then depending on how they ask, what kinds of questions they ask, it might change.
So means it from recruitment was only you have to come from recruitment itself. You have to be cautious with whom you are working, so that
I mean you can try. Sometimes you cannot tell who is going to be a good performer and who is going to not do anything once they join. So it's difficult. It's not easy.
Easy to say.
It's easy to say that and recruitment only will eliminate Irish people. ऐसा होता नहीं. So we kind of have that. I mean, me and my father and some other members of our board, we sit in every interview, right? So especially for teachers. Yeah, we have 3,000 teachers. So not at the same time, but at some point or the other, we will talk to every person who is working with us as a teacher. And I think that gives us one alignment. The second thing is I'm a teacher. Right, so I'm a Ph.D. guide of Mumbai University.
Okay.
I can guide students in mechanical engineering topic. I teach my own subjects and classes.
Right.
So that gives me a different perspective. My father was came teaching background.
Okay.
My mother came from a teaching background. My grandfather was from a teaching background.
Oh my God.
So you have maybe a different perspective, right? That we know what the difficulties teachers face. Try to alleviate that as much as possible. There is always competing requirements, right? So we have, but we try to ensure that our teachers, because we are in that place, right? So we came from that background.
So any small mantra I would like to give a recruitment of right person is important. How to recruit right persons?
Okay, I don't really have a mantra. I think you just have to have an institutional philosophy, what you expect from this person, and then decide based on your experience only, not like whether this person can fulfill that vision. I mean, that's kind of, it's a very vague answer, but sort of boils down to that.
So understanding and having the gut feeling, that's what I can say.
Yeah, it's nicely puzzled that there's no, I mean, this is, I cannot, like in this government systems or colleges, you have to take an entrance exam. I mean, not everybody has to take an entrance exam now, right? And so we think that because by looking at an entrance exam score, we will be able to figure out if somebody is good for, capable for even as an admission or as, or for some recruitment of something. And unfortunately, that is not the case, right? That one number cannot reflect a person's true worth, right? Like whether they will fit into that role or not. Some people may be very good in their examinations, but very poor in working.
True.
All right. So you cannot have one. So if somebody has this, then only we will recruit. There's a dynamic thing. It's a very dynamic thing.
Any institute, any organization is always made of right people. And if the people are wrong, then everything goes wrong. So that recruitment is very important, I can say that.
Yeah.
So it's really great to know about your entire journey from your education till today, how you have been able to expand, bring entrepreneurship's mindset in the faculty members and students. So what advice you would like to give to the leaders like you who are running similar kind of organization, how they can make their organization stronger?
No, I think building that culture of innovation is important, right? So how do you do that, right? You want to have a institute where your faculty and students and everybody feels that they're not going to be penalized for doing a new thing.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So try a new thing, succeed, fail, doesn't matter. Okay. Right. So I think that is number one. So I think all leaders should ensure that teacher is doing something new. Sure, we can have some guardrails, something. But again, they should be free to do that. Experiment, change things, innovate within the institution, right? It can be innovations in academics, administration, examination, infrastructure, so many things, equipment, laboratories. So innovation is key, right? So, and innovation comes when people are not afraid to innovate, right? So you should make sure that you yourself and then your heads of department, your principals, directors, whoever is not going to say we are doing this for the last 30 years and कुछ नहीं change होगा, ऐसा ही चलता रहेगा. That should not be there, right?
Anything mindset is not
fruitful. And even if you try change something and it doesn't work, that is also a good thing. You learn, ये नहीं चला, क्यों नहीं चला, learn how it didn't work, and then move to the next thing. I've seen something else happen where people do change things too fast, right? Change, but they don't stop to reflect why it's not working, what is the reason. All right.
Enough time is not given to
understand. So they'll try one thing that will not work. They'll try the next thing. Right. That's other extreme.
Okay. Frequent innovation.
And that is kind of and it's not like it can happen in any institution. I think that institutions can go sort of, pardon the word, but stale, right? Salo say we are doing this, why to continue, right? We will not change anything. And that happens in, you can go into the heart of Mumbai and Pune and find institutions that are the same as they were like 40 years ago. Because that location, they get students and they are surviving. Right?
We have
They have, but they have not changed anything for 30, 40 years. This happens, unfortunately, with government institutions also, right? So that they are afraid to take their chances, change, and innovate. So they continue like that.
Whatever is established, we should
continue. But the drawback is that it will be difficult to you go for another 20 years, 10 years, 15 years even. So I think the leadership should ensure that people are changing. They can take the risk. They can they are okay with something not succeed in the first time, right? And I think that is very important for
risk-taking appetite and giving liberty, but punishing the people who are innovating.
Yeah,
keeping some boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like 50 crore, kharcha crore, not that kind of risk, right? But if somebody wants to spend a reasonable amount, then you can define reasonable amount in a different way for you. Teacher says that I want this equipment, it will cost this much, but this is the research outcomes I can get. This is the teaching learning improvements. This is how the profile of the institute can get better if we purchase this thing. Okay, let's do it. Let's see what happens.
That's it. So with this, what kind of attitude, skill sets, and attributes, apart from education, faculty members should have so that they can succeed in whatever they are doing? Because here also there is a lot of attrition happening. Not with your college, but I have seen with other colleges, because there are multiple reasons. So what you would like to advise to the faculty members specifically?
No, I mean, I think it's difficult, right? It's not faculty members. Sometimes they go wherever they can get a job, right. And I know many institutions have difficulties paying salaries, paying them on time. Leads to a lot of issues for faculty members managing their personal lives, right? It's not. We have to be careful as a management from that perspective, but faculty also, ultimately I would say try to find a place that is at least regular in giving you salaries, right? At the bare minimum, because you cannot function, you cannot innovate, you cannot do anything if you're worried that my next check kahan se aayega.
True.
Right? Because you have your family, you have your aspirations are there, you have so many things, and if you are continuously worried about that, then baki sab chhod lo. So for faculty members, if they are stuck in that situation, I would tell them come out of it as soon as possible, and try to find a place that will. There are many very good institutions who are very innovative. They pay salaries on time. They might be choosy, right? They're about faculty, but again. But if you want to get hired into such an institution, you yourself have to improve your profile also, right? You can improve your skill sets. There are a lot of online trainings. Many of them are free, right? Not
like 15 years back.
Right.
Online now.
Now everything, and very good universities give online certificates, degrees, and very good profile. So if you think you can, you cannot do the bare minimum. Do more than what is required, right? For especially if you want to improve yourself, and then once you get into an organization that is valuing you and your contribution, then you also value the organization itself. And sometimes organizations cannot, value you monetarily every time.
Okay.
Right? There is other ways of appreciating your work, tolerating your risk if you take some chance and you do something innovative. That is itself is an investment in you only.
That's true.
Right? It's not like if it doesn't come into my salary slip, it doesn't mean that I'm not getting some benefit from this. So I think faculty members should also think about those kinds of aspects beyond just my pay. What am I getting from this institution? And then also and that is from the sort of the institution standpoint, and from the student standpoint, again, you have to, the same thing goes, how you want to be treated by your management, you should sort of treat your students, right? They are, in colleges, they are adults. They're grown-ups, right? They have their own aspirations, own everything. And you have to learn from them. The students can teach you more sometimes, right? So you have to learn from them. Students have a career goal sometimes. You can learn from that portions also. Students should also be free to innovate in your classrooms, right? So they should have the culture of innovation that sort of goes up from faculty down to the students, that you try this. If you don't, it doesn't work. It doesn't. It's okay.
It's not punished for any.
You're not going to be punished. You're not going to be,
That's good. So because as you mentioned earlier, you are supporting not only technical startups that like restaurants and other things. So this itself speaks more about the mindset that you have and that has been perpetrated in the staff members and how ultimately students are benefiting out of it. So that's great learning. So any last words from your side about professional success? Any advices? Any last word you want to give?
Well, I think students have a lot of scope now. Teachers, when this world is continuously changing, and it's cliche, unfortunately, but it's true. So the world it's changing quickly. So you will get opportunities. You'll get a lot of opportunities, but they will go fast. Right? It will come, it will be there for some time, and it will go before you, by the time you are sitting down thinking, ये करना है या नहीं, ये खत्म हो जाएगा.
Something that still comes.
So I think you have to put yourself in a mindset that what are the opportunities that are coming in front of me, and I should grab it once it does come, and not to delay, not setting yourself up for when that opportunity comes is number one. And then when the opportunity comes, to see it and immediately say, ठीक है.
That's great advice. I think so. This advice would be applicable to everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone, not only students.
nice. That is entrepreneurs. We are not that different. I think people think educational institutions are different. They're not. I mean, ultimately, it's an organization. It's a company. It's a charitable thing. It's teaching, learning. We have to manage our students, or to manage our students / customers, or our employees, right? So there is everybody has expectations, aspirations. So you kind of work with that.
From outside, the rules look different, but it's ultimately an entrepreneurial job on me to meet in this kind of such a large organization which has 3,000 faculty members and maybe more than 10,000, 15,000 students. It's a big thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time. It was great to learn about yourself, your leadership thoughts, your journey from US to India, and the vision for MIT. So thank you. And if you have to learn anything, you can watch this video. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel. Keep investing, keep innovating, and keep earning tremendously. Thank you. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
And it was great to know about you and your inspirational journey.
Thanks for having me, and then happy to be here.
Yeah.